Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the hardest problems in all of software engineering. How do you get thousands of computers to agree on a single version of the truth, especially when their own realities disagree and the network itself is trying to tear them apart?
Okay, let's just jump right in with a story. It's from the 2014 World Cup final, and honestly, it perfectly sets up the entire problem we're about to unpack. So, picture this. Alice and Bob are watching the final match. Alice hits refresh on her phone, sees the final score, and she starts celebrating. Awesome! But then, a second later, Bob refreshes his phone, and it's still showing the game is live. They're in the same room, looking at the same event, but their phones are living in two different realities at the exact same time.
Now, here's the kicker. This isn't a bug, not at all. This is the central, unavoidable challenge of every distributed system out there. We're talking about everything from the databases that power Google and Netflix to the cloud infrastructure that runs pretty much every app you use. It's all about this question of consistency.
And you know, getting this wrong isn't just some quirky little glitch for the user. It leads to actual catastrophic failures. You've got airlines double booking seats, banks accidentally letting balances go negative, and then there's the dreaded split brain. That's when a network hiccup fools two parts of your system into thinking they're each the leader. They both start accepting data, creating conflicts, causing permanent data loss, and yep, that's what triggers that 3 a.m. on-call alert that absolutely nobody wants.
So to prevent all this chaos, engineers are always striving for this ideal. It's like a gold standard of consistency that makes a massive, sprawling, distributed system act like it's just one single, perfect computer. And this ideal has a name: linearizability.
It's a really powerful promise. At its heart, linearization is a recency guarantee. All that means is, as soon as a write operation finishes, like the moment it's done, anybody, anywhere in the world, who tries to read that data next must see that new value. It creates this perfect illusion of a single, global now.
And this slide is a perfect way to visualize it. It's a single, straight timeline. No branches, no going back. When client C writes that X now equals 1, that becomes the one and only truth for the whole system. The value can only move forward from there. No client can ever accidentally go back in time and read the old value. But, and you knew there was a but coming, this incredible guarantee comes with a massive price tag. And that brings us to the famous CAP theorem. It basically says that when your network has a partition, a breaking communication, you are forced to choose. You can have consistency, or you can have availability, but you can't have both. So what do? Do you stick to linearizability and just stop answering requests so you don't give out old data? Or do you stay online, stay available, but risk serving the wrong information? It's the ultimate choice: be right and dead, or be alive and wrong.
Okay, so if the strictest model can force our system to just go offline, that's not always great for business. So engineers often look for compromise, and this leads us to some weaker but often much more practical consistency models that give us a cheaper alternative.
And that brings us to causal consistency. This model feels way more natural, right? It just mirrors how we all understand the world. Cause has to come before effect. You have to ask a question before you can get an answer. Now, things that aren't related, that don't depend on each other, well, they can happen in any order. It's kind of like a Git history where you have a main timeline, but concurrent work can create all sorts of branches.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Causality is the absolute strongest consistency model you can get your hands on without paying those massive performance and availability penalties of linearizability. It neatly sidesteps the whole CAP theorem dilemma, which means it can stay available even when the network gets messy. So how on earth do systems keep track of this causal order? Well, they use this wonderfully clever and elegant algorithm called Lamport timestamps. It's basically a three-step dance. First, every computer, every node, just keeps a simple number, like a counter. Second, whenever it sends a message, it tags that message with its current number. And finally, this is the magic part, if a node gets a message with a number higher than its own, it immediately fast-forwards its own counter to that higher number. That's it. That one simple rule makes sure that time across the system is always moving forward, perfectly preserving that chain of cause and effect. Now, causality is great for ordering things, but sometimes you need something even stronger. You need that all-or-nothing guarantee across a bunch of different systems. Think about a single bank transfer that has to update multiple databases at once. For that, we turn to a classic protocol called two-phase commit, or 2PC. You can think of it like a wedding ceremony. In phase 1, the coordinator, that's our minister, asks everyone involved if they're ready to commit. Then, in phase 2, if and only if everyone said yes, the coordinator makes the final commit announcement.
But this protocol has one single catastrophic design flaw. What happens if the minister faints mid-ceremony? If that coordinator node crashes after getting all the yes votes, but before it can send out the final decision, everyone is just stuck. They're in limbo. They can't move forward, they can't go back, and they're holding on to all these database logs, potentially freezing huge parts of the system forever. It's a total disaster.
So to solve this terrifying blocking problem, we have to level up. We need to move beyond 2PC to something way more robust, something called true fault-tolerant consensus.
So modern consensus algorithms, like Raft and Paxos, they work kind of like a government. It's a two-step process. First, all the nodes hold an election to choose one leader for a set period of time. Then, once that leader is chosen, it proposes a value, and everyone votes again. A decision only gets locked in if a majority of nodes, and we call that a quorum, agrees. This majority rule is what keeps the whole system from getting stuck if a few nodes happen to crash.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce. This is the mathematical trick that makes the whole thing safe. The group of nodes you need to elect a leader must overlap with the group of nodes you need to approve a proposal. This simple rule creates a mathematical guarantee that you can never have two different leaders making conflicting decisions at the same time. It's brilliant.
Okay, let's be real for a second. Building one of these algorithms from scratch is, well, it's legendarily difficult. Like Nobel Prize-winning PhD-level difficult. Which is why, thankfully, we have these amazing battle-tested tools that give us what you could call consensus in a box.
You can think of tools like Zookeeper and etcd as the air traffic control tower for your entire distributed system. They handle all the really hard parts, the consensus, the leader elections, detecting failures, and they give your applications the basic tools they need to coordinate with each other safely. Your apps are the airplanes, Zookeeper is what keeps them from crashing into each other.
So we've walked through all these different models and protocols. What's the grand finale here? What's the one big idea that ties all of this together?
This is maybe the most profound insight in all of distributed systems. All of these incredibly hard problems we've talked about, getting that perfect linearizability, guaranteeing a total order of events, doing atomic commits, distributed locks, leader election, they're not separate problems. They are all just different masks for one single fundamental problem: consensus.
So, your job as an engineer isn't to go out and try to build your own consensus algorithm. Please don't do that. Your real job, your skill, is learning to recognize when a problem truly needs the ironclad guarantees of consensus, and when a cheaper, simpler model is perfectly fine. And when you do need it, you reach for those proven, off-the-shelf tools.
And that really brings us to the most crucial point to leave you with. Yeah, these concepts are complex, no doubt. But understanding them isn't really optional if you want to build reliable software that can scale. Correctness isn't just another feature you can tack on at the end. It is the absolute foundation of your entire system, and you have to get that foundation right from the start.